All right, guys, we're winding down to our last two matches of the night. So next we have Okada versus Kenny Omega for both of their titles, the Continental Breakfast, whatever, versus Kenny's whatever and whatever he had. So they can unify the two titles. So for this one, everybody went for Kenny except for Jack. And Okada ended up becoming that champion, and Kenny is yep, Kenny's out. So anyway, let's just start off with a few notes here. It started off with Jason Miller, and he was singing this song from Shadowbringer. So I was fangirling. I was like, oh my, Shadowbringers like one of the best arcs in Final Fantasy 14. But anyway, ignoring all of that. And that's where I invested the most of my time with playing. So anyway, Don Callis ended up beating up Kenny while he was down, but Callis is on commentary as always. Rocker Romero came in, Ibushi dealt with him because he was helping out. Callis ended up distracting the ref in a dumb way. Okada tried to grab Kenny, and then Kenny ended up slamming him with the one-wing angel, but apparently it's not a finisher anymore. And he pins him, but then that's right.
No,
that was a finish.
It is a protective finish.
That's right. Yeah, because Callis interfered and he pulled the ref out before he could do the count. And the ref got knocked. The ref got yeah, he stepped on him. That's right. And Ibushi and Kenny called for a new ref, and Aubrey came in, and she took over. And Callis was about to pull out Aubrey before Kenny pinned, but Okada hit him with the Rainmaker, and he won the match.
Yep, and one thing I do want to mention, I did not know, but I did say we were counting week after week how like the scar keeps getting worse or weird for what's his face and how it never heals. And it wasn't until I saw the media scrum, and I know it should have been obvious for me, but he was doing an interview with the media scrum thing without the scar. So that tells me that it was pain. No, you're dead to the world. You were sleeping.
Sleep. Wait for this.
No,
some of this.
But yeah. Well, I think I have woken you up being like, Wendy, look, he don't got the scar on his head. What the fuck? I guess it's painted on and stuff like that.
No, are you talking about the Callis scar? The scar he has?
Yeah.
No, it's real. It's still real. He just had he had a
yeah, but he didn't have it at all. He was doing the scrum, and there was like no spine.
I think the problem is he hadn't fully covered up because the back on Dynamite, it was like front and center.
You want to know how he actually got that in real life? It wasn't the screwdriver, because they were using that as the excuse of why it happened. What actually happened? I'm not joking. Right? He actually talked about this. He said, what happened was they were doing a moment. It was like a backstage segment with him and I can't remember who. And John Moxley was like feuding with someone on the Callis family or whatever. And Moxley, it wasn't scripted. Moxley pushed him and he fell. He fell face first and he sliced on the prong of the camera, the stand. So the camera stand literally went like straight up his head. He's like, oh, fuck. So he can't, that's why they did that whole thing of him like, he's like, you look what you did.
Hey, so I just thought of something we didn't mention. Isn't Moxley being AEW being sued by somebody that works
yeah, it was a cameraman who he shoved because it wasn't part of the script. He just like shoved him, and then the cameraman apparently suffered some internal damage or something. And everyone's like, it's wrestling. I'm like, but that doesn't excuse just shoving a random camera, dude. He doesn't work as a wrestler.
Yeah, he wasn't scripted to take that bump or anything.
Yeah,
he was just some guy. He was literally just there, and it wasn't even part of the script. The guy was just standing there holding the camera. He goes, "Yeah." I'm like, why? Why? That's like imagine you were filming a movie, and you're supposed to be walking down the street. And you just randomly like deck an old woman and just keep walking like some random woman.
You know what that makes me think of, right? Nicolas Cage and Wicker Man when he went and punched
the bear. The bear
in the face.
What's the problem, sister? Best fucking scene ever. Anyway, go on with what you're saying. Sorry.
Well, one thing, what were your thoughts on the match in general, Jack? Was Okada actually awake for this one? Was he actually doing effort for this one?
I think he was doing I want to say he was doing about
Maybe 60%.
little about actually about 70, give or take 70. But it was nowhere near even a fragment near their last match. The last match they had is still considered one of the greatest matches of all time. It went 70 freaking minutes.
Dang, man.
It was a 70-minute 2 out of 3 falls, and they had breaks in between. It was that intense, and it was literally like no one had ever seen anything like that. And it was like at one point he hit Okada with the one-winged angel, but Okada technically kicked out. He didn't mean to. It was literally when he hit him, he was so close to the rope. Okada's leg was just right under the rope, and as the ref was like, "What? Oh!" Like everyone's like, "What? He kicked out at 1." I'm like, "Well, he didn't kick out. He kind of fell out, but all right." But anyway, my point of it is it was a good match. It was a good, solid match, but it's clear time has taken a toll on Kenny, and injuries and 7 score and 25 intestines ago. It's kind of going to take a toll on the dude. I'm sorry, but he can't. I'm sorry, he's not going to be able to wrestle like he used to.
Yeah, people were predicting that Okada was going to win this one because they couldn't see Kenny defending the title ongoing and all.
And I didn't think about that either when I made my prediction. I didn't think about that.
I mean, granted, I was also like I said, like that's the thing. I was always like, would I have loved to have seen one last match between them? Yes, and this was a pretty good match. I just don't think it was up to the caliber of their style of matches from the past, where it was like I said, when they fought back. I highly recommend, if you have New Japan World or have time, watch the old Kenny versus Okada 1 through 4. It's amazing how good they were. But by that same argument, I also say that's why I get pissed off at AEW, because Jay, unlike Kenny has a two victories out of 5, and Jay has 5 out of 6. So, yet, job to MJF. Anyway, but no, this match was good. I thought it was pretty solid. It was fun. It was decent. It was, I figured some shenanigans were going to go by. But I kind of wish that didn't. But as soon as I saw Don Callis out of the ring or out in commentary, I'm like, okay, I see where this is going. All right.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of tainted the match for a lot of people, me included. But I didn't hate it. I thought it was fine. I'm happy Okada won, but it seems like Kenny can't really keep up with long-term wrestling anymore. From what I can gather, like a lot of people keep saying he keeps taking more and more time off. And I'm like, well, it's probably because his body's wearing out. I mean, he pushed it past its limits, and it's, bound to wear out eventually. That's my theory, though. But what do you think, Johnny? What'd you feel about the match?
I don't really remember too much about the match, but it was definitely intense because it's Okada versus Kenny Omega. And I think it was still a good match for what it's worth. But yeah, you can tell that Kenny Omega is not really, I don't know, is not in his best shape anymore. It's very obvious that he is very injured. So, he could only make the best out of that. But yeah, it is kind of sad in a way to see Kenny Omega in that current state. But, it is what it is. But it was still an entertaining match in general.
Yeah, I mean, I figured they would do more of an effort because, they keep hyping up and showing all the footage, obviously their younger selves for the previous matches. It's like, I mean, Okada had to try more. And to be fair, Okada did look more, kind of annoyed and whatever with Kenny, and not so much like the whole, I don't want to be here, I'm just here for a paycheck. He did look like he wanted to, try and mess Omega up and everything. and stuff like that. But yeah,
Well, he did say he wasn't gonna kill. You know, he should have killed him and all the other stuff in one of his promos. But
Yep. Only in wrestling can you get away with making like murderous threats and like no one calls the cops or nothing.
No, I'm gonna say that. No, only in AEW can you openly sit around and say you want to murder people.